What's up, guys? This is Crazy Guy from Gully Dogs with yet another video. This will not be a tutorial video. It will be more me talking to you about something that I've been asked frequently, and that is how I engage my dog. But I will be going to the roots of my thinking when it comes to dog training, or some of it at least. I do hope you find this video informative, so listen up what I have to say, guys. Most common questions that I am asked is, how do I get the dogs to dedicate their focus on me? How do I teach basic obedience? And what do I use as a reward that keeps my dogs so engaged towards me? How I can make them do all the things that they are doing. Yes, of course, guys, I do train them to be an amazing athlete with great skills. There is no other way around it. Hard work gives result. But the secret will always be for me building a strong foundation. Now, most of the time I mention that basic obedience is the basic fundamentals of all my training, consisting of focus, recall, stationary positions, as well as target training, where focus will be always the main element of the basic skills. However, where my true foundation lays somewhere else. Think of it like a skyscraper. There are levels and levels of support to build it higher, and each level has a key foundation that holds up the next level, and so on. So if basic obedience is my ground floor and lower levels consist of my reward system as well as the body movements that I teach them, then something is holding this whole structure up. And that is the foundation that builds learning. The root of it all is the structure of how you raise them up, the bond itself that is created through this. Secondary to that is the importance of how you play, that builds your teamwork. Play is what drives me and my dogs. Play is what I cultivate in them, and play is what dedicates them back to me at all times. It is what reinforces and strengthens my bond with them. And that is what we are gonna share with you in this video, how we see play through Gully eyes. Now, play has allowed me to be the creative trainer I am today and has strengthened the passion I have for dog training. So why is play so vital to me? We all know that through play, we motivate our dogs to engage with us. We hear many trainers out there encourage this as a form of reward. Dogs do something good, we reward with a ball or treats playfully. However, from experience, also from the time that I was just getting started with dog training, most of that play conversation stops there. So I will give you my deeper perspective of why play is very important to me. Play is more than just goofing around and having great time with my dogs. For me, playtime is what creates the structure of what will become the training time. Transitioning and pairing play with understanding training and the reward itself. And as the play actually fades more and more from the actual training, the play and reward is just moved around. It's like energy, it never disappears, it just pops up elsewhere. This actually gives me my duration training as well as having a better expectation mentality on those rewards or playtime whenever I am training my dog. Play for me is divided into two forms. My dogs playing by themselves, and secondly, social play. The last being very important part for me. I always want to be a part of that play. My dogs, of course, learn to play with one another, but they are never to play with other dogs. This is because for me, there is really no need having many dogs in the house that they can socialize with. But in this context, I am talking about just me and the dog in front of me. That kind of social play. This is what really drives that focus towards me. I am the only one that enables the play for my dogs, making me a very vital and important part of their daily life. It is the soul and heart of my everyday interaction with my dogs. Even as they grow old, I always make time and give time for play. By playing with my dogs at such an early stage, it allows me to set them up and prepare them for their future training, modify behaviors, learn new skills without getting into that setting of seriousness far too early, giving them valuable lessons, abilities, and behaviors that will be a major impact on their adulthood by doing it in a creative and fun way. It allows both me and my dogs to explore that endless possibilities of what can be trained and achieved. With play, I am able to create body movements training with them, which will be the building blocks of my body control exercises with them later on. And also, this is the very start of those build up for the reward mentality, which builds up basically my basic obedience training. Control play and you control reward, which allows me to gracefully control their body movements and in which, in my opinion, gives a better cooperation later on in training, giving a better and faster progress as well as working ethics. This is what I believe in and what has come to work for me. As a child, I moved a lot from different country to country. And coming to a foreign country, I was faced having that language barrier. I remember those times when playing with other kids was just done purely by communicating with body gestures. Show a toy and there was no need to talk. Just simple understanding of what play is. And from that, friendship arises. A simple connection easily done with just play. This is how I view and see my dogs. The mentality of seeing them in the eyes of being a kid most of the time. The simplicity of teaching them in a manner that a kid would understand. Many looks funny at me whenever I ask a new client or hold seminars for new groups if I can see how they play with their dogs as the very first exercise with me. Many look at me with a question mark on their faces as if this is something totally new for them, which is of course not the case. It's just that they are merely shy to show others how they look like as a clown. Funny thing is, many have no problem yelling at a dog in public when it's doing something wrong.
Dude, crap!
But to play with them, that is something you don't see often in public. And this is something I do regardless where I am. If I have to go to the ground on all four and roll around like a drunk man on ecstasy for my dogs to be engaged, then so be it. I will do whatever it takes. A mentality I also bring into my training. Now think about that for a second. So let's get back to the point. I ask this of them because by doing so, it allows me to observe how well they engage with one another. Who is really in play mode? Is the energy of the interaction off balance? Which is more likely the case, as I mentioned earlier, owners will be shy to start with or they are affected by the environment they are currently in. But still, this will give me a small preview of their true connection, which I will then later see leak into their obedience work. The way they communicate with one another will kiss and tell it all. which points me into the direction of the quality of how they built the foundation. One of the many reasons I play with my dogs is to see how far I can take them into that high energy, frantic state of mind before I actually lose control of them. Where you will see dogs not responding any longer, and where play has become an issue due to hyper arousal, and where play can easily turn very sour in just a matter of split second. By knowing this, I know where the limits are, and therefore it's easier for me to control the dog at an early stage. Now, I always aim to work with my dogs in that state of mind where they are working at their highest peak of energy and where they learn to work at their very best. So by allowing more energy into play, this is how I get them into that state of mind and also how I balance them out. This is where the total control is for me, as I am a high energy dog handler. I love having them way up there, as I feel that is where they actually will have to learn to listen. By playing like many mammals, my dogs learn the ability to control their impulse, the ability to listen, and my ability to be included at all times in their head. Now, what other benefits are there of play? Play builds better bodies. It keeps both handler and dog's minds sharp, productive, and healthy. And most of the exercise I teach my dog are done through play. I am able to be creative. My dogs learn and have that ability to read my body language, as well as for me to learn their body language. The best thing about play is it is here me and my dogs make those mistakes and learn problem solving, allowing my dog to adapt and come out of this situation even stronger and wiser. Learning them to make choices, learning them to giving things a go, cultivating courage, giving them that sense of achievement to get to the reward and play setting. Play makes me and my dogs forget our surroundings, allowing a sense of space where we are alone among numerous people. They learn to ignore surroundings and distractions through play. The harder things I make them do, the harder and better the play payoff I give them. Play allows me to see new body movements they do naturally or done coincidentally, and learn new tricks or body movements, exercises from that. Play allows me to manipulate their body to the most unthinkable. Also, by playing, I increase my ability for better timing. Most important of them all, it puts a smile on our face, a laugh, which has a great impact for our well-being, rubbing that positive vibe to my dogs and everyone around me. It keeps me and my dogs in balance, and it keeps me in control of the surrounding we currently are in at that moment. Now, play comes in many forms, shapes, and shades, so how you actually choose to play with your dog depends entirely on you. The only thing is that it should be done genuinely and naturally. Do you remember that first time your puppy did a first sip? How much joy and play that came out of that. That sensation should flow throughout their entire lifespan of working. Now, that is one skill that many handlers struggle with to master. It took quite some time for me to master. However, once you are in the role of doing it, it becomes a part of you and it gets easier. Now, the key word, guys, being it has to be genuine at all times, because the more you actually do this, like I mentioned, however, it can turn out to be more of a routine, losing that amazing sensation of happiness, joy, and playfulness. Let that inner child inside of you given the opportunity to come out and play, as there will be enough time for seriousness. But if you don't make it fun and playful, you will slowly kill the connection. After all, when all the work fades out in time, you will always have play to connect with your dogs to the very end. So yes, we will wrap up this video with those information. I do hope you found it informative. If there are anything you are curious about or any questions, do drop us a comment or a message and I will be gladly answering you back. With all that said, this is Crazy Guy from Gulikulu Dogs signing out with the saying, train smart, not harder, push hard, but play even harder. See you on our next video, guys.